Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. I wanted to start today a little bit differently. I have 3 dogs that I've told you about. There's this pudgy one on my lap, the one that I've told you looks like a sausage because she does. And then this one is Luna, and Luna is the one who started the barking the other day when I was reading a story. And I have another dog, Elsa, who usually sits in that chair right there, but she's not there right now. So I'm going to bring her out in a second because I have a little story to tell you about her so that I can introduce the story I'm going to read to you today. She had quite an adventure yesterday, so I'm going to tell you about that. But I wanted you to just get a look at them. Here's Luna's cute face. Say hi, Luna. Hi. And this is Chyla. And Elsa, come here. Elsa. And there's Luna's tail. Come here, Elsa. Come here. Elsa's a big girl. She's a Great Dane, which is one of the biggest dogs there are. And now that the squirrels have come out a little bit, they're going a little cuckoo a lot. But I want to tell you a story about Elsa yesterday because we went on a run and they like to chase squirrels and anything else that they happen to see in the forest. So yesterday we were out and I was quite a bit ahead of them. We were out in the middle of nowhere in a forest and I noticed that they saw something. They both took off into the trees and I called them because I could tell that Luna got close to something and then stopped. So I called them back to me because I was worried about what they had found. And it turned out that Luna came back to me, but Elsa didn't. She kept going toward, I didn't know what yet, but I knew it wasn't probably a good idea. So I was calling her and calling her and calling her and she didn't come back. So a few seconds later, I kept watching her and then I noticed that she was right behind a skunk. Uh-oh. And she wouldn't come back. She just kept going toward the skunk. So the skunk was running away. And I don't know if you've ever seen a skunk run before. They're not very graceful. They don't look very athletic or fast. They are kind of wobbly. And so this skunk was wobbling its way away from Elsa, not very fast, and she was going fast toward it. Well, then you can guess what happens next. That skunk stopped and his back legs kind of hopped off the ground. He lifted his tail and the light was just right so that I could see him spray. And he sprayed right in her face, right here. And she backed off and I don't think it felt good. And I know it didn't smell good because even though I wasn't very close, I could smell it right away. And then she ran over next to me and started rubbing her head in the dirt and rubbing her head in the dirt and rolling around in the dirt to try to make it go away. And then she ran and found a patch of snow and she did the same thing in the snow. She rubbed her head in the snow and she rubbed her nose in the snow. And then she piled dirt on top of the snow and it was quite a production. Well, then I knew I had to put her in my car to drive her home with this incredibly bad smell on her. So I did that. And on the way home, I stopped at the store and bought a big bottle of tomato juice because that is supposed to help to get the smell off. And so I brought her home and I put her in the bathtub and I washed her with tomato juice. And then I washed her with shampoo, washed her. So now she's the cleanest dog ever. And she still stinks. She still stinks so badly. So I just thought you might want to meet them and hear my story about Elsa. And when that happened, it reminded me of a dog story that we know, a dirty dog story, which is also quite appropriate for what she chose to do yesterday. So today I chose Harry the Dirty Dog. So I'm going to go ahead and read that now. Harry the Dirty Dog. This book is written by Jean Zion, and the pictures are by Margaret Bloy Graham. So finally, we've got a book that has a different author from the illustrator. So that's typically what happens, but in this one we've got one with an author and then an illustrator. Different people. Harry the Dirty Dog. Harry was a white dog with black spots who liked everything, except getting a bath. So one day when he heard the water running in the tub, he took the scrubbing brush and buried it in the backyard. Then he ran away from home. He played where they were fixing the street and got very dirty. He played at the railroad and got even dirtier. He played tag with the other dogs and became dirtier still. He slid down a coal chute and got the dirtiest of all. In fact, he changed from a white dog with black spots to a black dog with white spots. Although there were many other things to do, Harry began to wonder if his family thought that he really had run away. He felt tired and hungry too, so without stopping on the way, he ran back home. When Harry got to his house, he crawled through the fence and sat looking at the back door. One of the family looked out and said, "There's a strange dog in the backyard. By the way, has anyone seen Harry?" When Harry heard this, he tried very hard to show them he was Harry. He started to do his all old clever tricks. He flip-flopped and he flop-flipped and he rolled over and he played dead. He danced and he sang. He did these tricks over and over again, but everyone shook their heads and said, "Ah, no, it couldn't be Harry." Harry gave up and walked slowly toward the gate, but suddenly he stopped. He ran to a corner of the garden, jumped to dig furiously. Soon he jumped away from the hole, barking short, happy barks. What did he go and do? What idea did he have about how to let his family know who he was? He'd found the scrubbing brush, and carrying it in his mouth, he ran into the house. Up the stairs he dashed, with the family following close behind. He jumped into the bathtub and sat up begging with the scrubbing brush in his mouth, a trick he certainly had never done before, because remember, he does not like baths. "This little doggy wants a bath," cried the little girl, and her father said, "Why don't you and your brother give him one?" Harry's bath was the soapiest one he had ever had. It worked like magic. As soon as the children started to scrub, they began shouting, "Mommy, Daddy, look, look, come quick! It's Harry, it's Harry, it's Harry!" they cried. Harry wagged his tail and was very, very happy. His family combed and brushed him lovingly, and he became once again a white dog with black spots. It was wonderful to be home. After dinner, Harry fell asleep in his favorite place, happily dreaming of how much fun it had been getting dirty. He slept so soundly he didn't even feel the scrubbing brush he'd hidden under his pillow. Do you see that brush? So a couple of weeks ago, we talked about good readers, and when you understand stories at a certain level in a certain way, you start to realize that stories remind you of things that happen in your life, or you start to realize that things that happen in your life remind you of stories that you know. So when I had that adventure with Elsa yesterday, it reminded me of this story because she became a very dirty dog. Not only because of the stink, but because of the way that she tried to get the stink off of her by digging her head into the dirt and then digging it into the snow and then digging it into the dirt so that it stuck to her face. So she ended yesterday as a stinky and very dirty dog. But she isn't like Harry. There's one thing that's different. So if I compare my real life to the story, some of the things were similar, which you might remember means the same, but some of the things are different. Elsa loves to have a bath. So when I put her in the bathtub, she just sat perfectly still and let me wash her, first with the tomato juice and then with the shampoo. And she was so happy just to be clean. And like I said, she still smells, but I think she smells so much less than she did yesterday. I think it smelled so bad that it made her sick. It went right into her nose and right into her throat, and I think it might have been uncomfortable and made her sick. So she was very relieved to come home and get a nice, warm, soapy bath so that she wouldn't smell as bad or feel as bad. So I hope you liked it, and I will see you on Monday for our next story. Have a great weekend.